Hello, everybody on YouTube, NFL YouTube prognosticators, and NFL fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back once again, giving you the second part of my top 10 Denver Broncos of all time. And little recap for the top 10. I'll get to that in a bit. Just make sure, still my shout-outs, my top 3 shout-outs I have to do. USMC Sniper, 123. He's a Broncos fan. Check his videos out. I don't think he's an NFL YouTube prognosticator, but I'm going to ask him to join our little Facebook group anyways. But still check out his videos. He's a really good good guy to look out. He makes great points. And don't forget my Billy B. He was a big Broncos fan, but I got a bet with him, which that's my next video with my Super Bowl pick. So stay tuned for that. And of course, one more Bronco fan, the lovely Dante Colito. She has her own YouTube channel. It's first time with Dante. She brings guests along on our show. So still check out her videos. They're really good prognosticators, and tell them I send you all, guys. So they're really good. Check them out. They're really good. So with Dante, I apologize. I keep mispronouncing your last name. I'm really sorry for that. So forgive me. So anyways, and don't forget to vote for me for the Geo Knows Awards. I'm up for Video of the Year. So my video is the Week 8 Halloween edition with Carver the Killer Clown. I'll bring that link down below, which I apologize for my previous couple of videos on that, which I will put that in there. So I got a little tired. I was busy with work yesterday, so I didn't really have time for it. So anyway, still check out their video. Check out those 2 videos, and I will put the videos in that link down below, and so will this one. So be on the lookout for that. Help me bring home a Geo Knows Award. Help me bring it home this year. So anyways, that's all I ask for you guys. Help me vote for the Geo Knows Award. So I truly appreciate that. Anyways, keep recapping the first top 5 from the 10 through 6 for the top 10 Denver Broncos of all time. Number 10, Rod Smith. Number 9, Carl Mickenberg. Number 8, Tom Jackson. Number 7, Gary Zimmerman. And number 6, Floyd Little. And number 5 on the list, Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey, 12-time Pro Bowler. I think that's the most in Broncos history. Probably the most in any cornerback position, too. But long story short, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the late 90s, and he was good at what he did. He really was. But the reason why he ranked at number 5 on the list is because he didn't last as a Denver Bronco a long time. He left during the middle of his career to go with the Washington Redskins. And at that point, I'm like, I know I'm going to get criticized for that. So that doesn't mean anything. Which, I'm probably going to get criticized with my number 3 on the list, which I'll tell you that in a bit. But, anyways, the reason why he's number 5, mostly because he left and went to Washington first. I mean, if he would have stuck with the Denver Broncos career, he would have been a little low on the list on that. So, maybe in the top 3. So, the reason why he's number 5 is because of that. But, can't deny that he was good at what he did. He was Darrell Reeves and Richard Sherman before they came along with the picture on that. So, anyways, Champ Bailey was an absolute beast in it. I think he's a Hall of Famer too. I think he got in recently, a few years ago. So I mean, it's good. He deserved it. If you're a 12-time Pro Bowler, that's a Hall of Fame book. Even though if you're a 5 or 6 or more in the Hall of Fame, that's good enough for me in the Hall of Fame. So I'll give you that. He was a 12-time Pro Bowler. I think he was an 8-time All-Pro too. And I think he was a few times a Defensive Player of the Year. He had a grade on his resume too. So I have a lot on his resume. I'm not going to give it all, so I don't like to give up resumes on that. So, anyways, he's number 5 on the list. I mean, he was a really good Denver Bronco. And number 4, Terrell Davis, TD, running back. And he was one of the big key guys in the for the mid 90s and through the early 2000s. He was the guy. Well, he left early because he had concussion problems, injury problems, so he had to retire early, which it's understandable. I mean, he ultimately became a draft steal, too. Nobody expected him to be their running back or anything like that. But one preseason came out, and he did a kickoff return. I think it was a kickoff return for the touchdown. And some players like who's that? It was Terrell Davis as a running back. And he goes, running back? And he said, he's going to be our starting running back, which he did. He was right. So they predicted it. So, and I'll tell you this: from that point on, he was their big starting role for the team. Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Fame for all the stuff he accomplished for a short NFL career. But he had to end his career early because of concussion issues and all that, which is kind of sad too. But anyways, in this point of view though, he was one of the big guys, one of the big reasons of the offense, including in Super Bowl 32, especially, and including Rod Smith too, as I mentioned. But Terrell Davis was that big guy in the Super Bowl. He was their Super Bowl MVP in that one. And he also played with a migraine on that one. No one ever plays with a migraine or injury like that these days. But he did. He wanted to play in the Super Bowl. He didn't want to leave out on it, but he did. He was really sick that day. He gave it his all in that Super Bowl. And he said, I can barely see and everything, but, he did what he had to do. So, that's, I'm thinking, no, I think that's it. That was a big storyline of his NFL career. That made him a highlight reel for that. And number 3, Shannon Sharpe. Yep, Shannon Sharpe, the ultimate tight end. He was part of the big tight end guys in the 90s with Tony Gonzalez. And I forget who else, too. I know there's one. I always forget the other guy, though. But, there was three of the best tight ends in the 90s, and he was one of them. And he also was a draft steal, too, like Terrell Davis was. But he came in 1990, though. So, when Dan Reeves at the time and the owner was asking players' opinions on it, and they're like, we'll find them. Because they were asking about him, too. And he became a draft steal because of his height, because he wasn't the tallest. He wasn't the fastest either. But he had great hands, too, on that point. And that case scenario was like, we don't know about what position he's going to do. But he ended up being tight end. He had broke the all-time receiving record at the time. He had with his receiving hands, which is eventually broken. I think broken by Tony Gonzalez at that point. But at that point, but he became the, how should I say it, like, one of the most trash talkers, one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. I can't deny that. I still remember the game when I was younger. Well, not really remember, but I saw the storyline at that point. But he was on the phone like that and going, we're going to call the National Guard. We're going to send the president, get the National Guard, help the New England Patriots out. And then he's like, we're killing the Patriots. Send the National Guard in. And he goes, help is on the way. Help is on the way. If I was old enough back then, I would have hated that. I would have hated it. But, I was too young to remember that point. I think I was 5 when he did that quote or something. It was in the 94 season, but in that time, nobody knew what the Patriots were going to word then. But that's another story. But in this case scenario, the Shannon Sharpe was the best trash talker of all time, which I can't deny that. He was great at it. He knew how to use it, and he was good at that. I can't deny that. I respect him for that. I don't like trash talkers, but I can respect him for that. And plus, I like tight ends too. It's my favorite position in football too. That's why it's number 3 on the list too. But I know I'm going to get criticized for this too, because he didn't stay in the Denver Broncos for long either. He went left to go to Baltimore, which is true. I understand that. I do apologize, but he didn't last long in Baltimore though. And so that's all I got to tell you. The reason why I put Champ Bailey number 5, he lasted longer in Washington than Shannon Sharpe did in Baltimore. That's why it happened. Then eventually, he ended up winning 3 Super Bowls, including one in Baltimore. But his ultimate one was Super Bowl 32. I think everyone's on Denver Broncos' ultimate side was Super Bowl 32. And at Super Bowl 32, he did that quote, I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, he did that quote too. It was unbelievable. And he was one of the big key guys too for the Denver Broncos for that offense side of the ball. One of the big key guys in that point. And he became one of the best tight ends in the 90s. I still like Shannon Sharpe because of the tight end position. I mean, I like playing tight end. I used to play that when I was younger, so that's why it's number 3 on the list. I mean, I gotta do that. So, anyways, number 2, John Elway, 9-time Pro Bowler quarterback, known as Mr. Clutch. I have to say Mr. Clutch because he had the most clutches in NFL history. I don't think nobody knows about that. Maybe especially Bronco fans know, but he has the most game-winning touchdowns in NFL history, I believe. I believe he's number 1. I don't know if anyone passed it or not. I know he passed Joe Montana in that category, but I know John Elway has the most. He had I forget. But you can name every single clutch performance he did. Most of them. Probably the drive as the start of the conference championship game and in Super Bowl 32. I was talking about it earlier. So he was, in that case scenario, Elway was one of the greatest quarterbacks in the 80s. He came out of the quarterback year draft in 83. He became the ultimate number one pick, but he was going to Baltimore, but he wasn't interested in going to Baltimore because they were a losing organization. Pretty much a similar situation like Eli did. I'm not going to San Diego, think it was a losing organization. He had no interest in going. So, in that case scenario, that Elway got drafted to Baltimore, and he said if he got drafted to Baltimore, he was going to play for Baltimore, he would rather play baseball. He was threatened to play baseball at that point, which the Colts did was best for him. They traded him to go to Denver. And the rest was history at that point. And for Super Bowl 32, he had that big scrambling play with a helicopter, spinning like a helicopter, and he did it. And he gave it all in that game because he thought it would be his last one. Turned out to be at that point, but he did get that Super Bowl victory against the Green Bay Packers. And it was for him. And he goes, "This one's for John." And at that case, he won his last Super Bowl. Now he's the front office of the Denver Broncos, and the rest is history. But before I get to my number one pick, here is one honorable mention. Mike Shanahan. The reason why, the head coach, he was a great coach in Denver. Can't deny that. The rest, but he had great success in Denver. That's why I put in my honorable mentions. And number one, Pat Bowlen, the NFL owner. He was the ultimate Denver Bronco. I'll tell you why. Since he took over in the 80s, in 1984, they had maybe 4 playoff positions at that point in the 70s, including 1 Super Bowl performance. And the rest was like, what happened to the Denver Broncos? But all of a sudden, once he took over, a lot of playoff success, like a bunch of Super Bowls. Sorry. Bunch of Super Bowls. I'll be there in a minute, Bella. But, sorry, it's my cat. Excuse me. But, since he took over, he took that organization to a whole new level. A whole new level. He bought the team. Now he stepped down with his Alzheimer's disease. I hope I'm wishing nothing but the best for him at that point. But until when he took over that position, he was the